Hello folks, I'm Craig Cummins. I'm a low stakes poker grinder trying to move up to mid stakes. And today I would like to share with you some advice on defending appropriately in the big blind versus cbets and how important position will affect our cbet defense. If you like this video, please click the subscription link, and also if you want to improve your game, please click the GTO Wizard link in the chat and subscribe to GTO Wizard via the chat. But now I'm going to show you some hands. So starting off here with this first one. Now 10-8 here is certainly fine as a defend pre-flop, especially versus a min raise. And well, we bink a top, so we bink a third pair on that flop. But is that a good hand? No. I believe here, when he does a cbet on the flop, I believe we will be folding this flop. Why? Because this board hits under the gun range so well. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to put into it, this here is the GTO Wizard that has improved my game. And if you want to try it out for yourself and improve your game, click the link in my chat please. So here we go on this flop, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to change him to 33%, which is the size he used in game. And when you look at it there is 10-8. It's pure folding. Queen 9 there is mixing to a fold. These 10 X's with a backdoor are defends. But you see it there. Queen X's are mostly folding without a backdoor. 10X are mostly folding. Why? It's because when you look at under the gun's range, it hits this board so well. Here we go. They've got the ace X's. They've got the queen jack, queen 10, queen 9, kings, king queen. When it comes to bluffs, it's only really these pairs here that are going to be the bluffing range, because they are at the bottom of the range. And when you look at this, all you have to do is put the EV and look at that. Bit of equity there with 35% on that flop. And when you think about it, more often than not, if we call the flop and we miss the turn by not hitting our 8 or our 10, we're just going to give up most turns. These can improve to a backdoor flush, so they can turn a flush draw. That's why they call. But 10-9, 10-8, they're worthless. However, this is where position is important. If we go over to low jack now and we compare versus low jack, now you'll see we should be doing more calls with queen X's. 10 X's might still mix, but there'll be way more calling with our weaker pairs than there is versus earlier positions. So it's still, looks like I'm wrong, it's still a mix. But then you look at low jack's range, it's kind of the same. They've still got a really strong range. Of course, I mean, king 10 there, they don't have, when you look at all these offsuits here, jack 10 is beating our 10-9, queen 10, king 10, king jack, king queen, queen jack. All this offsuit region is stronger. And then as far as offsuit suited stuff goes, ace X is there. They've all got these king 9, king 8, king 7 and king 6 hands really that ahead of us and them low pairs, but that's a very small percentage of a range. However, let's make it a cut-off. Now our Queen X's are going to become pure defence. 10 X's will be close. And so we'll have a look here versus a 33% size. So there you go. Every single one of our 10 X's is a call. Every Queen X is a call. There's a tiny bit folding there with 10-8, 10-7. But really, you don't get it. The difference now is the cut-off has got King 9 off, Jack 9 off. It's got all these suited kings, the suited jacks, these suited connectors here, and these low pairs. They've got far more worse hands in the range than Under the Gun has. So we can defend our 10X's more pure. So this is this hand, and I did fold. The next one I'm going to talk to you about is this backdoor. A few years ago we used to always fold backdoors pure, but now we are all starting to find defensive backdoors. But when it comes to defending backdoors, again, position is important, because really the backdoor is not what matters. Improving as a pair and having the backup equity with a backdoor is what's most important. As when you look here, I mean, we have pot odds of 20%. When you look at it like that, the chance of us hitting a backdoor is certainly a lot less. I don't know the exact odds, but I mean, all I'll have to do is I could just put into this Flopzilla thing. What I'll do is I'll just give pocket kings, Jack 10 and King 4 3. 5% equity there. Basically hitting the back door alone isn't good. So what's most important when you look at it is, here we can hit a pair and still go ahead of so much of that range. If we turn a Jack or a 10, we go ahead of smaller pairs, Ace 4, Ace 3, we go ahead of his Ace 2, Ace 5, Ace 6, Ace 7, Queen 9, and what I'll do is I'll put it up in a sim. So here we go. Again, I'll now show you. And this is basically King 4 3's the flop. We face basically 18, 36, 54, so that's about 30% or 33. Let's make it 33% equity, keep it simple, because that's the main size. So when you look at it there, and then we put in our suits, spades, clubs, diamonds, and can you see? Queen, Jack, Queen 10, Queen 9, Queen 8, Queen 7, Jack 7, Jack 8, Jack 9, Jack 10, 10, 9. Nearly every single one of them is a defend here. But when you look at a button range, really, of course, we can hit a Jack and a 10 and go ahead of so much of this range. Top pair's just 16% of his range. And then when you look at that, so that's roughly overall, when you include the over pairs and stuff, it's about 20% of that range. Ace high alone makes 22% of that range and stuff, and then no made hand is 42%. So basically we can hit a Jack on that turn and Then let's have a look at our equity of our jacks. So we've turned a jack, and there, 69% equity on that turn. So, therefore, we get to defend every backdoor on this flop versus this small size, apart from the absolute crappiest of ones. But it's going to be hard to find it and stuff. Of course, we don't want these danglers here. Jack 2, 10 2, 9 2, 8 2 and 7 2. They do not count. They've got a dangler, as you call it. They've only got 3 outs to improve versus the 4x and the 3x. So them ones are folding. But if you've got 2 overs, then you call. But let's now make it an earlier position. Low jack versus big blind. Now you will start seeing more folds with the backdoors. So here we go. And there, Jack 9, Jack 8, Jack 7, Jack 6, 10 9, 10 8, 10 7, 10 6, 8 7 8, 6 8, 5. These have now become pure folds. And that's for a reason. These hands now aren't very good when they hit a 1 pair. Because when you look at the cut-offs range itself, I mean, it's not got a weaker Jack X in its range. So really, if we hit a pair on that turn, we don't go ahead of very much at all. Just a few of these pocket pairs here. There's not much ace high in that range. I mean, the weakest one to defend there when you look at it is Queen 9 and Jack 10. These are the weakest defends with the backdoor. And I think that makes more sense. Because in position we've got Queen 10 and Jack 10. It's basically like roughly similar to what their range is. And they've got Queen 8, Jack 9, Jack 8. So they've got a few weaker hands in their range. But then, if we now go a step further and look at under the gun versus big blind, now you'll see any backdoors are defaults. So we're going to make it, I say again, 33%. Now, even Jack 10, and I wouldn't surprise if even Queen 10 folds. So Jack 10 now pure folds. Queen Jack is still a defend and Queen 10 is. But the Queen 9, Queen 8 is now a fold. And again, it's because that range is even more stronger. Right, next up, what I want to do is I want to show you this one. This is another example of a position matters. Ace 7 here, we defend 3, and the board is Queen 4 3. Now this hand is neither a pair nor a backdoor draw, but again, he is still going to defend versus later positions. He bets that flop, and now I call. Why do I call here? Well, I can still hit an ace to go ahead of his Queen X's, and go ahead of weaker ace X's. The 7 can still allow us to improve and bluff catch and stuff. And like I say, we're ahead of all these king rags like King 10, King 9, King Jack, King 8 to King 6 suited. So we call. And so call versus big blind. Change the board to make it a queen. And I'm going to give him 33%. So here we go. And see, every ace is a defend. Ace 5 to ace 2, of course, has either got a pair or a gut shot. But there's ace 7 offsuit there defending. Ace 8 offsuit to defend. Ace 9, ace 10, ace jack. We're even defending king 9 and king 8. Except for the ones with a diamond. I mean, there's a bit of check raising there with king 5. And this one here is a really good one. It seems weird to check raise that without a backdoor, but it's got a backdoor straight draw for starters, and it can hit a king to go ahead of the queen X's and the ace highs. And by having spades, hearts or clubs in the betting, it can bluff turned flush draws. It won't actually have a flush draw, but let's just say we check raise this flop and the turn card is let's make it 8 of hearts. We can probably go and barrel the turn with our king of clubs, sorry, king of hearts. There you go. Because we've got the king of hearts, we can now barrel the turn. And if we make it the spade combo will be the one that does it as well. There. Now, why does it choose the 5 of diamonds over the 5 of hearts and 5 of clubs? Well, it'll probably be because the 5 of diamonds is the 5x combo that is going to block the most value hands, because it blocks an extra queen, 5 suited, 5-4 suited, and it also unblocks more backdoors. It unblocks king 5, yeah, king 5, that's it. But this is that small percentage, but basically it blocks so it blocks the queen 5 of diamonds and the 5-4 of diamonds, and it unblocks the king 5 of hearts, the king 5 of clubs. So yeah, it's not saying like that time percentage, but that's all it is. So back to what we were talking about. So as we say, we defend here with all our ace highs. Now we go to a mid position versus big blind. Now we will start folding out some of our ace high hands, and certainly our king high ones. King jack will be interested now. So there we go. Ace 8 is now close to pure. Ace 7 and ace 6 are pure folding. Ace 9, that one's the one which is doing a lot more calling. King 10 still calls, but there's king 9, king 8. The difference now is the low jack is more stronger. Their weakest ace X is ace 9 off. So our ace 8, ace 7, ace 6 don't beat any of the offsuit aces. King jack, however, when you look at that, that's still a pure defend. Why? Because it's beating king 10 and it's beating king 10 and jack 10 off. So that's why that one still can defend. King jack and jack 10 is still in the opponent's range. And of course, when we look at the back doors, every king high with a backdoor still defends, and every ace high with a backdoor still defends. But there is that. Now, what should we do? Look at under the gun versus big blind. And if we put again 33%, and so now the ace 10 is now folding. King 10 is now folding. King 9 is now folding. King 8 is now folding. King 9 is now folding. King 10 is now folding. King 9 is now folding. King 10 is now folding. King 9 is now folding. King 10 is now folding. King 9 is now folding. King 10 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 is now fo King 10 still tries to creep in. King Jack still creeps in. And now when we look at the King 7, that's pure for them. King 6, King 5 still defends. But I think the way I look at it now we want extra insurance with some of our backdoors here. Those with a backdoor straight draw, they can still improve versus some hands. And because they can still hit a king, so they've still got an overcard. But when you think about it then, this is where position matters most. If we are versus a button here, we defending ace 7 off, ace 6 off on this flop. So yeah, we defending ace 7 off, ace 6 off, king 5 off, king 6 off. We defend all of them offsuit regions when we on the button, and when we're against the cutoff, we still defending the best king X offs and the ace X offs. Then when we're against these mid positions here, the ace X offs are becoming folds unless they're the best ace X offs. The ace X suited and the king X suited all pure defend with the back door. And then when you get to this position here, the earliest one, now it's more often a case of having a backdoor straight draw and an overcard, or an ace X backdoor. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this, and this is really good at explaining why position is so important when you're defending hands. Because yeah, some positions are going to have a much wider opening range than others. The button's opening 57% of its range, and that, whereas under the gun is only opening 18%. So I'm opening it too much, but there, 55% of that opening range there, 16%. And it will of course vary by stack depths and that. Now under the gun's opening 9% and buttons opening 51%. But I hope you get the idea, people. When it comes to defending ace highs and back doors and that, you've got to understand that we defend far more of the trashy back doors and the ace X offs versus late position than we do versus mid position and early position. And on the most deadliest of boards, we will even be folding out our weaker pairs versus early position, whereas when we versus late position, the only time we're likely to fold out weak pairs is if it's ace king queen and we've got a pocket pair which is just 2 outs. So yes, people, I hope you enjoyed that content, and if you want to say anything, just ask us a question or out like that in the chat. Just type it, and please click the subscription if you like it, and if you want to improve your own game, click the GTO Wizard link in the chat. I'm hoping to do more and more videos like this in the future. But yes, thanks all for this, and I hope you enjoyed it. Goodbye.